Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is your boy Fitzmonk TV here, aka GLauren33. I am back here on the Legit Shoot podcast, and I guess you can call this a legit extra. I don't know, call it whatever you want, but this, I guess, is a bonus segment for the podcast, something separate. Depending on when you guys are watching this video, I wanted to film this separate from my Monday Night Raw review because one, if you guys have been watching the reviews lately, I've been trying to keep them under an hour. I don't want to make them super long. And I knew if I addressed this on the Raw review, it would have made the podcast like an extra 30 or 40 minutes long. So I wanted to make this into its own thing. I don't know how long this video is going to be, but I definitely knew that I wanted to talk about this. And if you guys are wondering, and you guys can't tell from the title or the description, or just from the first couple seconds of this video, I'm talking about the situation that's been going on basically on Twitter between JD from NY206 and Alexa Bliss. All right. It's been a very interesting week in the wrestling community. We had AEW Double or Nothing. We had the Return the Fans on Monday Night Raw. And, you know, there was also something very sad that happened last week. I'm not going to address it, but you guys know about the female superstar from AEW that tragically committed suicide because of cyberbullying. That's all I'm going to say about that. But it has sparked up a lot of conversation about cyberbullying, treatment of others, you know, women's rights, all these other things, man. It's been a big topic of conversation in the wrestling community this week because of the events. Plus, people are still mourning the loss of Shad Gaspard after the terrifying events of him drowning in that beach incident last week. It's been a very interesting week, like I said. And depending on when you guys are watching this, on Memorial Day this past Monday, something very interesting, something very controversial happened in the wrestling community. And it, you know, like I said, it is about Alexa Bliss and JD from NY206. Most of you guys that listen to me, you guys know who JD is, all right? This podcast is kind of inspired by JD. I've been watching him for over half a decade. I've been watching him since he only had like 30,000 subscribers, and I've watched him grown throughout the years. He's one of my favorite personal podcasters. I love watching his reviews, you know, because he tells the truth, he's honest, he's polarizing, and he's flat out entertaining. Love him. And, you know, the strength of what he does has always been his high wrestling IQ, and I agree with him on a lot of things when it comes to wrestling. There's definitely things that I disagree with him here and there, but all in all, I love the guy as a podcaster, and he kind of inspired me a couple years ago to start the Legit Shoot. Even though the way we do our shows is a little bit different, still some of the things that he does inspired me to do what I do here on the Legit Suit podcast. And you guys should know but what's been going on between him and Alexa Bliss. So basically, if you guys don't watch JD, on his videos and his reviews, Off the Script is the name of his podcast. He, like I said, he's very honest, and he says a lot of controversial stuff. Plus, he can be very honest, crude, but honest, and sometimes some of his takes can be a little bit out there, to say the least. And he's been like this for years. He's always been like this ever since he started his Off the Script podcast. I think it was back in 2013, something like that. Ever since he started almost a decade ago, he's always been like this. You know, go back and watch this first video and just go back to him now. You know, the only difference is the quality of his videos have improved so much. And basically, you know, a year ago, he said something about Alexa Bliss on his podcast, and I'm going to play the video for you guys so you guys can get an idea of where this is all coming from. Think about it, is he's always been like this. He still is like this now. He's always made remarks about wrestlers, you know. And let me just put up real quick. Sorry about that, guys. It's on my background. Even though it's the same as my profile pic, but here we go.
Everybody's eye, right? And she does nothing. She does nothing. She's just, I guarantee you, she's one of those women that just lays there and just takes it. Nothing. She does nothing. Can you imagine? Can you you imagine being in bed with Alexa Bliss, man, and she performs the same way she does in the ring? Awful. All look and no substance whatsoever. So we got Bliss, man, everybody's eye.
All right, so basically that was the clip. So he was talking about Alexa Bliss. This was from a year ago. I don't know what Raw review, but basically he was comparing Alexa Bliss's in-ring work to having sex with her. You know, that's where the controversy comes from. And basically, this is from a year ago. You guys got to remember this. This clip is from a year ago. Even though he hasn't really changed, you know, he said a lot of things about a lot of WWE superstars. And the thing is, this was tweeted from a burner account. You know, some guy on Twitter made a burner account. And basically, if you go on the account, you'll find tweets and more tweets and tweets and tweets and tweets are about basic clips from past JD reviews of stuff he said about Ryan Satin, Alexa Bliss, Braun Strowman, about tons of WWE superstars. All right, like I said, JD is always honest with his thoughts, and he doesn't hide how he feels from other people. Basically, Alexa Bliss decided, and hopefully I can find the thing, but basically. Yeah, here's the thing. Basically, Alexa Bliss finally decided to respond to this. I don't know what made her respond. Remember, this clip is a year old. All right, the guy who made the burner account posted on May 14th, but I don't know what made her decide to respond to it today of all days. I don't know. But basically, she said, normally I ignore his ignorance because all he wants is to be recognized by bashing me. But X freaking sauce me, sir. How dare you discredit my work in such a disgraceful way? Hashtag what a class act. And this is where I think the key mistake was made in this entire situation. All right, I am not perfect by any means of the imagination. I want to get that out before I say anything. I am not perfect at all. I have said things about wrestlers on this podcast back when I was doing this podcast with my boy Anthony. You know, I said a lot of stuff. All right, all right, and I still say stuff. I've said stuff about Nia Jax, Lacey Evans, Dana Brooke, you know, and they haven't been the best things. But one thing I've always tried to do is I've never attacked a wrestler for their personal life. I've always tried to focus on what they do on TV because, personally, I don't know any of these superstars in real life. I've met Sasha Banks 4 times. I've met Alexa Bliss twice, and she's one of the nicest people in person. You know, there's a vlog on my channel that has like 800,000 views when I met Alexa Bliss a couple of years ago. And I legit told Alexa to her face that I did not like you in NXT at all. And Alexa Bliss stared at me. She laughed and said nobody did. You know, even she recognized that in NXT she wasn't good. And I'll be honest, you know, Alexa Bliss on the main roster, even though she's a nice person, super nice in real life, I'm not a big fan of her in-ring work. She's, you know, pretty good on the mic, but in the ring from a wrestling standpoint, I don't think she's not that good. And I don't care what the Alexa Bliss fans or stans or whatever they say on Twitter. I don't care what you guys say in the comment section. That's my personal opinion. I have every right to come on here and state my opinion. Notice, yes, I may be saying negative stuff about her in-ring work, about her wrestling work, but I have every right to do that. WWE is a scripted product. It's a fictional company. It's sports entertainment. These are real humans playing fictional characters on TV for our entertainment. We have every right to criticize and critique their work how we see fit. I'm not saying notice when I say that. I don't like Alexa Bliss's in-ring work. Notice how I'm not saying anything about Lexi Koofman. I'm not saying anything about her personal life. I'm not attacking her. You know, I'm not saying none of this stuff. I'm just talking about what she does in the ring. And that's the way I've always tried to do it. No matter if I've been harsh on somebody like a Nia Jax or a Lacey Evans, I've always tried to keep it professional and even though try to keep it entertaining for you guys listening and watching at home, I've always tried to keep it professional because I don't know any of these wrestlers personally. I'm not friends with anybody in the business like that. I haven't, you know, I'm not friends or I'm not dating or I'm not married. I'm not, you know, I don't know any of these people in real life. I just know that based on what I've seen off my TV screen for the last 21 years since I've been watching wrestling my entire life. The problem with this, first off, let me start on the burner account. All right. Whoever has this burner account really honestly should delete it. That would be the right thing to do. The fact that this person, because first off, I don't know if this person is a fan or not a fan. I know I went through his Twitter and the guy said, "Oh, I have every right to do this. You know, consider me like a news columnist. I'm just reporting the news to other people." Yes, but here's the thing. He posted on his Twitter later because he said a lot of people DM'd him privately and started sending him hate mail. He said that, "Oh, sorry, I'm not JD from NY," and then he would actually give them JD's actually real Twitter. So what are you doing? You're calling yourself a news columnist, but you're openly telling other people that are threatening JD, all right, other people that are sending him death threats, right? You're openly sending other people to his personal page just to give him slander, right? So how does that make you any better than JD or any of these other people that are on the side of Alexa Bliss or these other WWE superstars that claim that, you know, they're against cyberbullying? How does that the whoever this guy, you know, whoever owns this burner account, how does doing that make you any better than anybody else? You're telling other people, "Hey, go slander JD, go give him hate." How does that help? Instead of ignoring those people and not answering them, you're openly making the situation worse. All right, you have a burner account posting to it. I don't care if you're trying to be funny. I don't care if you're the biggest JD fan. You're clearly not, because if you were a supporter of JD, you wouldn't be doing this. You would have deleted this, because now you're allowing other people to download the video to keep this clip, you know. But instead, no, you're out here making the situation worse, not only by having this account, but then sending other people to JD's personal account, his personal Twitter, to attack him. I've seen tweets today of people saying they have JD's home address, they have his parents' names, they have his personal info. So now what? He's going to get mail from other people, hate mail. And think about it is, wrestling fans can be some of the most toxic people in all of freaking all of sports and all of pop culture. Wrestling fans are so sensitive, and they can cause so much pain and hurt in a matter of moments. All right. So that whoever owns this burner account, man, first off, delete your account. Honestly, stop tweeting. Because the thing is, he's still posting clips of what happened, of other things JD has said over and over again. That's not gonna help. That's not gonna help. You're making the situation far too worse. Look at this. You go through his Twitter account, and all he has is more and more clips and pictures of things that JD has said. Look, he has a video here of what JD said about Braun Strowman. How does that make you any better? It doesn't. You're honestly a terrible human being. If you really cared about JD, if you really cared about the guy's personal safety, you would delete your account. Honestly. The fact that you have this account, like the video about what JD said about Alexa is at over 500k views. It's sad. It really is sad. The fact that this account is still active. And the guy also tweeted saying he has a backup account just in case his main account gets taken down. That's sad. You're not reporting the news. You're actively making the situation worse. You yourself, sir, are a bully. I don't know what your name is, but you are a bully. But so now I'm going to pan over to Alexa Bliss. Okay, one. Like I said, I've already given you guys my thoughts on Alexa Bliss, how I feel about her. But in terms of the situation, Alexa Bliss, I've seen, you know, if you go on her Twitter, she comments on stuff, but she's never really been known to say anything mean about anybody, you know. And the way she formulated this tweet, you know, she even attacked JD. She said, "Oh, how dare you discredit my work in a disgraceful way." You know, she also said, I'll post another tweet up here. "He's been blocked forever on my end. He's just one of those people who talks crap behind a microphone while waiting in line for Pixat access." I have no problem with the way she responded. All right. And I'm talking about what she said in her tweet. I have no problem with what she said in her tweet. That's the key word, in her tweet. because she had every right to respond to JD. You know, you can have your opinion. You can agree with JD. You can choose to disagree with him. You know, and the way she responded, like by the way she formatted her tweets, she's not attacking JD. She's not bullying him. You know, she's just standing up for herself. And she also chose to block him. And, you know, saying, oh, yeah, he's just one of those guys who talks crap on the microphone while waiting in line for Pixat Access. There's nothing wrong there. You know, she has every right to stand up for herself. The problem I have with Alexa Bliss is she chose to do this publicly. And I don't know why people are calling me, but she chose to do this publicly. Alexa Bliss has 1.4 million followers. All right. That's a lot of people. And like I said earlier, wrestling fans can be some of the most toxic people in the entire community. 1.4 million followers. And Alexa Bliss fans, I've dealt with them in the past. You know, when I was defending Sasha Banks, when Alexa Bliss and Sasha Banks were feuding, man, it was bad. Dealing with Alexa Bliss fans can be bad. You know, and you can say that almost about any wrestler. You know, like I'm a Sasha Banks fan to my grave. I love Sasha. My celebrity crush to the day I die. Love her. I will always defend Sasha Banks in almost any situation. Thing is, by Alexa Bliss deciding to talk about this publicly, she brought her whole entire fan base into this. And is allowing them to openly now bash JD, because JD's been receiving criticism all day. I can't imagine how it's been like for JD on Twitter all day with who knows how many notifications he gotten from tweets from people to, you know, indirect messages to DMs, all this stuff, man. His Twitter has probably been more active than it's ever been because of this situation. Alexa made a huge mistake by making this public. You know, like I said, the guy with the burner account posted this on May 14th, over a week and a half ago. And Alexa Bliss chose to respond to this now. Why? Did somebody send this to her? It says, she said in the tweet, normally I ignore his ignorance. So basically that confirms that this is not the first time she's dealt with a JD tweet. I've been listening to JD. I listen to his podcasts every single week because I find him entertaining and I like his views on wrestling. He says stuff about Alexa Bliss every single week. I don't remember listening to him say this. I don't know why people are still calling me, but still, with this whole thing, Alexa should have never made it public. If she really wanted to say something to JD, she should have messaged him privately and say, hey man, you know, I don't like what you've been saying about me. I disagree. You know, they could have a conversation. And if JD decided to make that public, you know, if he decided to screenshot those DMs and put it on his public story, that's on his fault. He deserves every bit of criticism he gets because he made that choice. Just like Alexa decided to make this choice by going public with this situation. She should have thought back, and this is the problem with the internet. The second you post something on there, especially if you're a public figure, you gotta think about all the people that are gonna see and react to this. All right, Alexa is not the only people to react to this situation. Tons of WWE superstars have been reacting to this all day, and I'm just gonna show you guys a few. All right, I found this article on Forbes by Alfred Kunua, and I like this article, all right, because the way he frames this whole situation, I really do like how he did this. So Sonya Deville, you guys know who Sonya Deville, SmackDown female superstar, she responded, I pray I run into this dude one day. That's great. That's really great, Sonya, all right, because Sonya was on her Twitter account just earlier this weekend talking about how cyberbullying and how it needs to stop. But then you decide to respond to this situation by saying, I pray I run into this dude one day. What, so you can punch him in the face? How does that make you any better than JD? You sound like a hypocrite. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. Like I said, I've said some horrible things about people in the past. You know? But this is when we all need to think about the choices we make. Especially on the internet. Because the internet is such a dangerous place. Sonia is on her Twitter, and on one hand she's talking about cyberbullying and how it needs to end, but then you decide to be hypocritical and say, I pray I run into this dude one day. Why? So you can beat him up? How does that make anything better? Anything better? And the thing about it is, I just checked my phone. Don't mind the Sasha Banks picture with me from the meet and greet, but JD just posted his Monday Night Raw review addressing the Alexa Bliss situation. I'm definitely going to be listening to this once I finish recording this video, which you guys will be seeing on Tuesday. But how does saying that make you any better than what JD said? Now, by Sonya Deville deciding to respond, now she's bringing her entire Twitter fan base into the situation. All right, where's what Braun Strowman said? Because what Braun Strowman said really got me pissed off. All right, Rhea Ripley responded by saying disgusting. I have no problem with what Rhea Ripley said, but by her, responding, that brings her entire fan base into the situation. Paige said, this is the problem right here. He's one of the problems. Cyberbullying is not okay, and to this extent too, what a disgrace. And I'm assuming he's supposed to be a reporter of some sorts. Shame on you, DG. Your work is incredible at Alexa Bliss. Pay no mind to ignorance like this. I have no problem with Paige's response. All right, just like I have no problem with what Alexa Bliss responded. By the fact that you're responding publicly like this, how does that make the situation better? Now Paige is bringing her fan base into the situation. You guys see how this is stacking up? By everyone responding publicly like this, it's bringing more and more people into this situation. And now you're allowing all these other fans to go target JD. Braun Strowman, here's what Braun Strowman said. This sad-ass Mark talking like he even knows what it's like to share a bed with a woman. He should probably stick to talking about wrestling because he doesn't know crap about it either. But at least he can pretend he does. Oh, and eating Hot Pockets his mom makes from him. Hashtag trash. This is the one that pisses me off the most. Braun, why you had to open up your mouth? At least what Alexa and Paige said, it wasn't that bad. My problem with what they said is they're making the situation worse. Braun is openly bullying JD. This is legit bullying. This is legit cyberbullying. This is the problem. Strowman, instead of responding with positive reinforcement, instead he decides to respond by slandering JD, calling him a sad-ass Mark, saying he doesn't know what it's like to share a bed with a woman. All right? He's saying he doesn't know anything about wrestling, but he can pretend he does. And eating Hot Pockets his mom makes for him. So now you're slandering his mom. How does that make you any better? I've also seen tweets today from other people, because JD, he talks about this all the time, how his grandpa is dead. And how people saying that he belongs in a grave right next to his grandpa. Really? JD has been responding to this all day. This is just one of the things he said. What proof? I literally explained how Alexa Bliss does no work, which is a fact, in her tag team matches, and applied it to a couple with one partner not doing much to make it an enjoyable experience. If you find this to be derogatory, bro, you may have a problem. All right. There is also he also posted a tweet. Mick Foley followed JD from Twitter, JD from NY on Twitter. Messaged him and then said, what you said was not right. Then proceeded to block him on Twitter. It was JD. JD did kind of mess up a little bit, because he did decide to screenshot the private message that Mick Foley sent him and post on Twitter. So that's on JD if he gets criticized for that, because Mick at least actually sent him the message privately. Right? Yeah, like I said, the original video, or the clip, was posted on May 14th. Alexa responded to this today. Alexa Bliss being a huge public figure. Yes, JD is a public figure. He has 170,000 subscribers, over 30,000 Twitter followers. But Alexa is way, way bigger. 10 times more bigger. She has over 1 million followers, and she is well known in the pop culture industry because of she's a WWE star. By Alexa responding publicly, it made the situation so much worse. If she really had a problem with JD, she should have messaged him privately. And if JD decided to screenshot that and post it on social media, then that's on him. But no, everyone's just, responding to this in the way they see fit, and making this a public situation doesn't help. Like, I understand, yes, Alexa Bliss, she has to stand up for herself, because what JD said, it can be perceived as wrong. Thing is, the guy said this a year ago. All right, so what? Are we gonna pull up every single clip JD has ever said about somebody? Is that the route where we're going? The burner account guy is wrong. Alexa is wrong because she should have messaged him privately. People like Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman is an idiot. This is the same Braun Strowman that was a couple months ago. He was out calling the people that work on the indie scenes trash. Even though most of the people on the indie scenes are 10 times better wrestlers than Braun Strowman ever will be. And the thing is, I can say that because, look, I'm not coming at Strowman personally. I'm talking about his work in the ring. That's what you guys need to understand about all this. It's one thing to critique somebody's wrestling work. The way JD said about Alexa Bliss, yes, I can understand why people are mad about him. And yes, I can understand you guys coming at him. But when it comes to slander and making death threats at him and his family, that's when it gets taken too far. Alfred said in the article, and I really like this. And I don't know, okay, my computer's lagging a little bit, but here it goes. Bliss's response has since led to a firestorm of criticism of the podcaster, with WWE superstar Sonya Deville, who suggested she'll get physical with JD, and admitted bully victim Rhea Ripley weighing in. Alexa Bliss's own struggles with her self-image in the past while battling an eating disorder makes comments like this and many others from JD from NY206 that much more reckless. But while calling out irresponsible behavior among wrestling media personalities with large followings is a step in the right direction, it also leads to a potentially slippery slope in the much larger conversation of cyberbullying. I agree. I have no problem with Alexa Bliss responding. Alexa Bliss, it's been well documented that she's had issues in the past. She's had mental issues. She's had, struggle. Because if you guys seen pictures of her online of when she was younger, Alexa was very, very skinny, and because she was a teenage model, and she struggled with her own self-image. She also had a really bad eating disorder, which, was one of the reasons why she was so skinny when she was younger. And she's battled through that, and congrats for her. I'm, happy that she's, much more happy and healthy now. But the thing about it is, making comments like this publicly makes the situation that much worse, because you're bringing your fans, you're bringing toxicity, you're bringing sensitivity, and all these other factors into the issue. How does this help in the whole overall view of cyberbullying? Yes, you could make the argument that JD was cyberbullying Alexa Bliss, and he's been cyberbullying a bunch of other superstars with his takes on his podcast. On one hand, JD views this as, him making a response, or him critiquing the product in the way he sees. Other people are going to take this as he's just being an asshole. It's that simple. Everyone has their views on the situation. But the thing about it is, and I love what Alfred says, he says multiple WWE superstars with much larger platforms than JD from NY206 publicly calling somebody out will only lead to more targeted attacks. Just like what I said, the more people say about this, the more people talk about this, the worse it's going to get. Because these people have millions and millions of followers, and now you're just, giving these people easy access to target JD. He's been getting death threats all day. Same thing goes to the guy with the burner account. As much as JD's actions should come with appropriate consequences, which hopefully result in growth and evolution for the polarizing figure, what has instead happened feels more like fighting fire with fire. That's exactly what it feels like. Yes, but I'm willing to bet JD's Raw review tonight, where he addresses this whole Alexa Bliss situation, and talks about everything that happened, it's gonna probably make him a little more popular. He's probably gonna get more eyes on his podcast. He's probably gonna get a couple more subscribers because of this whole situation. Superstars calling him out are indirectly basically giving him a shout out in a way. But the thing about it is, And hopefully it leads to him acting better in the future. Maybe he'll think twice before he says something about a certain superstar on his podcast, because you never know how somebody's going to view that. You don't know how people listening are going to view that, because then you're going to get, fools like this making burner accounts, and then it's going to lead to situations like this with Alexa Bliss responding and this becoming a whole huge issue. All right, it honestly feels like fighting fire with fire. With the way people like Braun Strowman have responded, they're not helping this situation. They're making the situation worse. Not only are they bringing more eyes to the situation, now they're also bullying JD. It doesn't make them any better than JD at the end of the day. All right, now JD from NY206 has been publicly labeled a cyberbullying, and as a result, many are now cyberbullying him right back, aka all the death threats, the mean tweets, the slander. How is that helping the situation? How is that helping cyberbullying? It's making it worse. All right, whether JD was in the right or the wrong, and he was in the wrong here. What he said wasn't right. I'll be the first to admit it. As much as I love listening to JD, what he said wasn't right, and he said a lot of things, a lot of mean things on his podcast throughout the years. All right, he said way more than this. This is just not even a fourth. This is a small fraction of some of the things this guy has said. With everything that's happened with this Hana Kumara controversy, this only leads to the sad reality that there may be no resolution for the troubling dynamic of Twitter's constant, dangerous, targeted attacks, regardless of how beloved the target is. The recent targeted attack on JD from NY206, while some may argue is warranted, feels like a step backwards in the inconvenient discussion of cyberbullying. And then he shows a lot of people responding. People have responded saying, JD from NY gonna get jumped by the entire roster. You love to see it. Another guy says, chocolate starfish. This is why I said we can't just be nice all the time to everyone, because JD from NY is a mega dickhead with no issue with anything he says, and he's been like that forever. Just block and ignore. All right, now my computer's bugging out. I'm gonna leave the tweets at that, because people have been reacting to this all day long, and it's gonna continue. I can't wait to watch JD's podcast and see what he says. If you guys want, if we get enough likes on this video, maybe I'll do a reaction to his Raw podcast to what he says. But like I said, I'm gonna continue listening to JD because I find him entertaining and I like what he has to say about wrestling. But in terms of this whole situation, we all have to act better. And I'm talking about everybody. JD has to act better. The wrestlers have to act better. We as human beings have to act better. We're already in a pandemic. We're already in very, conflicted times. We don't know what's going to happen. All right. We don't know when or if we're going to get back to some kind of normal life. We don't. This whole coronavirus pandemic is going to change the way our lives are lived forever. And that is facts. It doesn't matter what anybody says, But we all have to act better. We should be using this time to grow as individuals, to become better people. Things like what happened today on Twitter are not right. Like I said, Alexa Bliss had every right to respond to JD in that matter. She had every way. She didn't bully JD. She didn't slander him. She basically just stood up for herself. But the thing is, she also needed to realize that she has a public image. She is very famous and people are going to listen to what she has to say. All right? By her going public with her comments, just allowed for a bunch of other superstars to say, to give their reaction, allowing their fan bases to come into the situation and make everything worse. And the guy with the burner account, like I said, he needs to go as well. He needs to realize that he is just as guilty in the situation than JD is. Him making a burner account allowed for other people to react and find these clips and make JD look as bad a human being as possible. Because the thing about it is, now JD's gonna have a target on his back, and I'm worried for the guy. I really am. Because based on what I've seen today on Twitter, people saying they have his address, they have his info now. Like I'm legit scared. You know, what if he goes to a WWE event and somebody recognizes him, and then we just find out that he gets beat up or hospitalized? You know what I mean? Like, this is the things you gotta think about, man. And people like Braun Strowman, the way he responded, absolutely foolish. You are a WWE superstar. You're supposed to know better than that. By you saying that, you're gonna have other people, especially younger people, you know, not people my age. I'm talking about younger people, like younger kids that use Twitter, 10, 11, 12, 13-year-olds. They're gonna see the way Braun Strowman respond and say, hey, that's my favorite WWE superstar, man. If he can talk like that, so can I. And they're probably part of the problem. They're part of the people that are targeting JD. And think about this is not only happening to JD. People get cyberbullied like this every single day. What JD said wasn't right. And he said a lot of controversial things, a lot of mean things. And hopefully in the future that makes him think about when he goes to click the big red button, when he goes to record his podcast, he'll think twice before he says something. Hopefully to avoid this. Even though he already has hundreds and thousands of videos of stuff that he's already said that can't be taken back. But in the future, hopefully the guy thinks twice before he says something. It definitely is going to make me think twice before I say something on my show or on any YouTube video I do. Because the second something hits the online world, you're giving everybody access to react and say what they wish. And the thing is, the way everyone's reacted to this today, I've seen way more people slander and send threats to JD than people coming to back his, to have his back. And I'm saying, JD did say that he wasn't going to apologize for what he said, and maybe that wasn't the response. Even if that's the way he personally feels, maybe it would have just been better if he just sent a apology to Alexa Bliss. Even if he didn't feel that way, he could have sent that tweet, and maybe that would have lessened some of the backlash that he's received. But the thing about it is, what's done is done, and you can't take it back. All we can do is learn from our mistakes and move on and become better people. And I hope that's what everybody learns from this whole situation. All right, I love JD, man. I'm gonna continue listening to him, and I hope he's safe because I'm concerned. All right, because there's nothing stopping some other guy from going to one of my Raw reviews. Excuse me. There's nothing stopping some other guy, some other poor fool out there to go to one of my reviews and say and find something that I said about Nia Jax or about Lacey Evans or Tamina and then posting it online. The only thing we can do is learn from this situation. The way everybody has handled this has been wrong. JD didn't handle it correctly. Alexa could have handled it better. People like Braun Strowman treated it they handled it in the worst way possible. Braun Strowman, he's supposed to be an example, and instead he looks like an absolute fool. He looks like a little kid with the way he responded. And us as fans, we all could have acted better. What if something happens to JD? What if tomorrow we learn that JD was attacked, or God forbid, JD was, assassinated just by some poor fool that wanted to, say, oh, this is payback for what you said about Alexa Bliss. What are you guys going to say? Are you going to say Alexa, or are you going to say JD deserved it? No, people aren't going to say he deserved it. It's just going to be another sad case of cyberbullying. And even though Alexa and all these other superstars may not like him, they're all going to be partially responsible for what happened to him. Because they put fuel onto the fire for the way they reacted. And that guy with the burner account, man, damn, you didn't do right. At the end of the day, we all need to learn to act better. Treat each other like human beings, man. Think twice before we click tweet. Think twice before we click upload on YouTube. Because the thing about it is, yes, we are humans. We make mistakes. We are sinners. But the thing about it is, we all have the ability to be better. And I'm hoping out of this situation, we all become better. I really hope JD is okay and, nothing happens to him in result of this. Because I personally love the guy and, I want to see him succeed. But, we all need to act better. JD needs to act better. The WWE superstars have to act better. We all have to act better. hopefully you guys enjoyed just a little extra thing. I know I went basically 40 minutes long. I knew I was going to go long. And I want to go in depth on this topic. That's why I didn't include it onto the Raw review. But hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let me know you guys' thoughts in the comment section. You know, one thing is, if I start seeing slander in the comment section, I'm just going to delete your comment, honestly, because this is not the place for that. It really isn't. You know, I want this to be an open place for others, but I'm not going to accept no slander and stuff like of that nature. But other than that, guys, let me know what you guys thought. Like, comment, subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. Enable notifications by clicking the bell next to my name, Fitzmonk TV, so you guys are notified every time I post a new video. I'll see you guys later. Stay safe and healthy. Peace.